GAM versus Wales. Wales trying to confirm themselves playoff spots by winning out games here, especially, like we said, an undefensible win. Very unlikely anyone's going to be able to match this pressure.
Once again, the Cho'Gath coming in for Nagia. It was banned in game number 2, and it looked pretty good in game number 1. So once we have the cannon against Cho'Gath again, the cannon, look at his runes, he's looking at that, at our favorite build again, so not very likely to go Heartsteel, because I think the Heartsteel is more something you go with Grasp, but he's gonna go for that split-pushing AP kind of style.
Absolutely.
Which worked okay in game 1. He didn't look amazing, but honestly, late game teamfighting, Kiai bought a lot of time for Style, and it's kind of the same 3 champions there, right? It's Style on Zeri and Kiai on Cannon. And those 2 carried the teamfights in the late game, so I'm pretty confident that GAM can once again repeat that kind of success.
You know what I kind of want to see eventually in this one? First off, B, how about the Galio pickup? Gotta love it. He's going to max W, and I love that. Again, B is always the innovator here, so we can appreciate that that's going to come through. Xin got a little... That was a terrible exhaust. I was going to call it optimistic. I'm just going to call it terrible. That was a terrible exhaust. Sorry, Xin. I would say it to you if I knew how to communicate to you. That was a really bad exhaust. There was no reason to drop it there. But it doesn't matter because the Galio is not likely to provide a bunch of kill threat anyway. But I eventually want to see Nagia shift into the lane against Kadi. Because Scion into Cho'Gath is miserable. If you're charging Q, you can hit him with a Q, you can hit him with a W, and then it cancels it. And you get nothing for your Q. Out wave clears, out sustains. Like, Cho'Gath is a good champion into Scion. If you need a free lane to, Cho'Gath get a little bit bigger, I think there's also better kill threat for Glory on top of Kennen. It's a lot harder to really lock down Ahri. Here we go, in the mid lane. Flash from Levi, gonna find something, Glory is gonna have to flash. It is flash for flash, so there's no Sejuani flash available for another gank like this again in the future, but he's gonna burn Glories as well.
Yeah, but Laurie really just has to weather the storm of the next 3 levels. Afterwards, he's ungankable, especially from these 2 champions. Unless he runs into something stupid like Cyan Q into Sejuani Ultimate, he should never die. But of course, now he has to play a little bit more carefully. We'll probably just perma-push with a little bit of jungle cover into teleport reset. Look at this. We saw the exact same thing happening in game number 1. Kiaya trading his HP for wave positioning, and now Nagia has to flash. Oh, the dodge.
Oh. What a stab. Still has to burn the flash, which does suck. But Nagia able to at least maintain the health bar. Although the wave's so far pushed up, it doesn't matter that you hold the health bar. So Nagia might just be in a bad position anyway. As Levi already has more impact in this first couple levels as possible. But he's getting pinched on right now. Flash from Killer Queen. Going to be able to grab the Vi Q on top of Levi. Levi's just going to die. He has no flash. Is that the case? Here's a attempted cutoff from Glory.
No
Blast
way.
Cone's available. Is he going to be able to get out? Q's going to be there. Will it be blocked? It will not. Killer Queen's not going to go crazy. He is instead going to go right for the Wolf Camp. Double wards. Why the double ward? They drop it down just for vision onto Killer Queen, but they're not going to be able to capitalize.
How did he get away?
That is a great question. I don't know how he got out of that. That was about as close as it could come. One auto would have done him in.
Unbelievable. That was so close to disaster. But now Levi's flash is down, and if Killer Queen plays it smartly, I think he's going to try to counter again, because Levi, he has both of the summoner spells burnt in both solo lanes, so usually you would look at this situation as Levi and say, okay, I need to gank them again, I need to repeat gank and get a kill there. But if Killer Queen reads him correctly, a risky move from Xin. Yeah, but if Killer Queen is there for the counter gank, I think Levi just dies on the spot.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that is certainly the circumstance. All right, I'm trying to take stock of everything that's going on right now because Scuttle Crabs are also getting kind of split between the 2. So Killer Queen just gets an absurd advantage over top of Levi in this first early clear. That just will not be respawnable, as Levi is just going to double down, triple down. Why out of the ward? I feel like you could have just walked into... I don't know. That was weird. I thought he was going to walk in a lane and just bypass the ward altogether. Instead, he just clears the ward and takes the Scuttle Crab and might go roaming into the enemy jungle.
He's still
He's
here.
Right back. Okay.
Well, B needs to be careful.
Yes. Almost has exhaust, too, actually. Okay. Nice flash from Vit to make sure he's not going to get punished in any way. Levi is just going to keep jumping in. All right. One stack away from being able to use the E. Levi agrees for it for absolutely no reason. Throws the W out. He's not going to find anything. Damage is too far back. Styles not able to put anything out. Now Killer Queen's on the bottom side. So is Kadi, who outsteps Killer Queen, just dodges that punch. That was a very strange display once again. Seriously, yo, wait, are we literally back in 2020 right now? I feel like we're not watching modern VCS.
It's
Like,
very
this is
strange
ridiculous.
today, yeah. Everything is opposite day. Well, maybe you just traveled back in time, and
Yeah, that's
MBE
nice.
maybe forward in time because they were so much better. But yeah, it's a very strange game. And as you said earlier, Killer Queen got a huge jungle advantage. Now will profit with the dragon, but we have to also give Levi credit. After a questionable start, he has now ganked 3 lanes and gotten 3 flashes from the carry. So it is rather successful. But here comes Cyan.
Yep, Cotty tries to cut off everybody. Over top the wall goes Killer Queen. Levi's going to have to chase him down. He's pretty low health. Now that's the Pog Slide from Style that is going to net first blood over to Style. I think you take that all day. You get your Zeri out of a bit of a hole from the beginning of the game. You don't get the first dragon, but you don't really care because it's that Chemtech Soul or that Chemtech Drake. So honestly, I think you're chilling right now if you're GAM. That was actually a pretty big win for themselves, getting that first blood onto their main carry.
Yeah, especially with a Vi going down, buys some time for Levi to catch up. Very strangely played here from the side of Wales. They instantly call off the fight, so at least they were all on the same page. I'm not sure if the page was the correct one for the assignment, but at least they were all on the same page and instantly decided to never fight this fight. They all disengaged, scattered across the map, and tried to go different ways. Which is fine. I'm more happy to see them be on the same page, but still a little bit confusing to me because it looked like a possible fight. If you dodge the Cyan altar there, I think you can just walk out towards your jungle. Just fine.
Yeah, it was mostly, I think, Killer Queen got stuck in the pit and had no way out outside of the punch, and he just went, oh yeah, there might not be anybody on the outside, maybe they're trying to wrap around or something, and he can catch them off guard. And also, Levi was kind of low, so like he was a little bit right, that like if it was just Levi there, he probably wins the fight and at least goes 1 for 1, but because of the reinforce from Style fast enough, there was no opportunity for that. So now if I'm Wales, you know, you got your dragon. This is rough. I think Nagia probably not going to go down. This is where I would swap the Ahri with the Cho'Gath, because now you have the commitment to the Leeching Leer from Kiaya, which means he doesn't have the burst damage to match what Ahri is going to be able to do, if he can even get on top of Ahri. And you get better laning for Kiaya, especially because right now Kiaya is down, or my bad, Nagia is down about 12 CS to the Kennen at this point. This is where the Kennen's really going to be able to step up the wave pressure. This is where I want to see Nagia get free laning up against the Scion in the mid lane. Just swap the lanes and let them happen.
I don't think it's going to happen because look at the itemization from Nagia.
Yeah.
He itemized into MR, which you wouldn't do if you try to swap into Cyan matchup. So
Not loving that.
I think it's going to stay like this. And Kiaya, this time around, he's actually really punishing Nagia. Because in game 1, we talked about Kiaya's lane assignment, and it looked like this as well, but actually the CS were even. This time it's not the case. Nagia is very far behind.
Cotty trying to punish Killer Queen. That's a steal of the Rift Herald. Now Killer Queen on the backside of this one, trying not to die.
Flash.
Kiaya ends up flashing for the ultimate and getting absolutely
Wait,
nobody.
what?
That's going to be Nagia trying to find the ultimate, and he is going to be able to execute Levi. Well played by Nagia right there. As Glory's here, they're probably going to kill Nagia. Nice flash from Cotty to be able to get over top the Q. I know, it looked like it was invisible, but the Q was there. It was a good flash from Cotty to get him out of dodge. As it is a stolen Rift Herald, and it is more kills over to the side of GAM than it is to the side of Team Flash, or Team Wales, my apologies. Or it's a 1 for 1, I think, with the Rift Herald going over to GAM.
Yeah, definitely a winning play for GAM there. It looks like Wales hasn't really arrived in Game 3 to me. Like, all of their decisions are not as crisp, not as assertive, not as decisive as in Game number 2, where they looked so much better from ahead. But Nagia is just, he thinks about it. You can see it in his movement. He's get back and forth and back and just trying to decide if he wants to commit for this one. As we see Xin just walking around. Very nice. Good replay there.
Yeah. I'm also really worried because now you've got, consider the position you're in. Kiaya is on a tank shredder up against Nagia, who did just pick up a kill. I want to give credit to Nagia. He was able to get an ultimate kill trade 1 for 1, which was at least something to hang your hat on. You have something there, right? But ultimately, it's not going to be a good laning phase against Kennen, who is stacking up a Cole who has all this tank shredding stats. You're never getting a kill on the mid lane as Glory. Like, already doesn't do it super well in the first place. Should have a Dark Seal because you're never going to die, but you are never getting a kill against the Scion. Scion will just absolutely destroy you in wave control. It's never going to work your way. And then, like, bot lane's going well because you had Style pick up a kill. Wales doesn't have anywhere near any kind of early presence that they've been banking their first 2 games on, that had such success on in the first couple of games, as Killer Queen. Again, the short Q kind of leads to just a bit of trade damage, and Styles going to be able to pick up 2 plates off the back of this Rift Herald drop.
It's just a much cleaner performance for GAM, and now they're looking for Killer Queen, pushing her out of the jungle. I don't think Styles is going to chase far here, but...
Why did Glory just started backing? It's like he wasn't paying attention to Style, just gunning down his jungler. And now Style actually getting an open opportunity to potentially hit Glory
B.
some more. Yeah, reinforcements. Nice ult from B to try to deny something. Nice W as well to be able to get something. His Zin is going to go down to Killer Queen.
Wait, Vid?
Tower shot. Now Vid flash over the wall. Predatory Instincts has to get the response flash out from Style. Not anything super electrifying. Zin going down is just the only thing that they really get out of that circumstance. But man, there was some aggression from Wales. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, another very close call, but this time Wales actually wins in the kill department. They do bleed some gold in the towers. Look at top lane, look at bot lane. That is quite a bit of gold into the solo laners, and especially Kati, who was pretty far behind in CS, is suddenly back in the game with those 2 platings there.
Absolutely.
It's still definitely going GAM's way. The one hope for for Wales, of course, is that they could maybe accelerate the game through the dragon stacking, because they're not too far behind to be unable to fight here, and especially with the cull complete for Vid, he might be sitting on his first item in base.
Okay. Riftmaker is now done for Kennen too, which means that Kennen is perfectly fine anytime he is against Nagia. This is not a lane that you ever want to be in if you're Nagia, because this is going to start to be very, very rough. Now Dragon started up, trying to be denied by GAM. Don't give them that Dragon stacking win condition. No access really to the pit at all. B tries to wrap around from the top side, but they are just going to bail on it. They say, okay, we can't, one Dragon's not going to kill us. It's our stacking that's going to be slowed down, but now Zin might actually get wrecked. He has to bounce out. Thankfully, he was paying attention. Had his, he wasn't caught window shopping there, Yolway. Nothing crazy like that. As back on top side, Kiaya has this Riftmaker, has the Conqueror nearly stacked. I thought he was going to keep going against Nagia right there, but ends up just bailing.
Looks a bit better, this build, I have to admit. Even though the other one was fun, I do favor this one. And as we said earlier, it has 100% win rate so far, the Riftmaker's cannon, so probably the best one available right now, especially with the playstyle of Kiaya, who has played most of the games on this champion too, or especially this build champion combination. But yeah, Wales needs to stabilize their mid game a little bit more. They are hitting some items. Very nice first item for Killer Queen, who is quite strong here. Unfortunately, Nagia is still super far behind the curve. He's not even tanky. Maybe he can get this one.
Flash, ultimate, knock up, silence, ultimate.
Done.
Nagia gets the easy knockdown. As that is a good play from Killer Queen.
And of course, kills for the Cho'Gath always count kind of doubly, because free stack, you can't generate those stacks easily, so that's going to be a tankier Cho'Gath than you're supposed to be. And a little bit of a comeback play, only 1k gold behind now for Wales. The game is definitely not over yet.
Not in the slightest. Somehow, Glory has ended up in this lane up against Kati, and Kati's starting to put some damage down as, again, Kati's just too tanky for Glory to really do anything into. It does look like Glory is going to be opting for Leandries instead of Everfrost. I don't think that the Fiendish Codex built into the Everfrost, so that's a good thing, because I think if you build Everfrost, yes, you might get some value out of rooting the Kennen or rooting like one of the other melee champions, but you're probably not going to get the same level of damage as a Ludens or a Leandry specifically will give you into this level of bulk. So I'm kind of happy that Glory has decided to opt for this build path as opposed to something else where maybe you're not doing as much damage, because especially if Zaya's not really a tank shredder either, so you really desperately need somebody that can do some percentage health damage, and that's where Glory's going to come in with this Leandry's build.
Certainly. I do think they do have options to kite around Kati quite well in the late game. Levi, I think, might be the bigger problem. He is a bit behind in terms of his farm, or at least he used to. He actually caught up to the likes of Killer Queen now, as Killer Queen invested some time to gank. But yeah, 100 CS at 40 minutes is not bad for a jungler, so I lied to you, I'm sorry. But yeah, the Sejuani might be the bigger problem in the late game, because usually Sion, you can kind of work around him. He's a very slow-moving champion. But the Sejuani is much stickier and much more annoying in teamfights. We're
back in winter. Your way is happening. We actually did teleport back in time. We're flipping on Second Herald. And here we go. GAM is out in front. Kati is having this. Kiaya's actually got a sick, nasty flank angle with flash readily available. So they're going to kick off the fight right here, right now. Kiaya, can he find the wraparound? Everybody's heading down, and it's not going to be the case. Kati goes diving into the backline, isn't able to get to Vin. Now Kati just doesn't run back to his own tower.
He's
so
just
they're just going to give up Kati in exchange for nothing. The Rift Herald was taken in exchange for the 1 kill, as that is the zombie Scion who's going to get brought down eventually.
Okay, he's acting as bait, but I'm not actually sure if I agree with that decision, because Second Herald is not actually that valuable, and he gave another kill over to the Cho'Gath, who was put so far behind, but now is sitting on 3 kill stacks already, so that's going to be an ultra tank Cho'Gath in the late game. So I am not entirely sure if GAM actually took the right decision there to sacrifice their tank for the Herald. They need to accelerate the game now with the Herald actually captured. They might be trying. They could try to set up the next dragon with the Herald in the mid lane, but yeah, I need to see it actually happening, because look at the Cho'Gath now. He's actually sitting on a huge shutdown for this stage of the game.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. Nagia is going to be in a great place in this one. That's actually the one thing I thought that was going to be redeeming here is Glory had so much free time on bottom tower, pulls first turret of the game, which is a bunch of gold into your RA, which feels really great. I really thought what was going to happen is Levi was just going to say, hey, let's go top and let's drop Rift Herald and let's just break top tower, like, as soon as possible. Hey, let's go mid lane. I think Rift Herald just charges and probably kills mid lane in one hit. Doesn't happen. Instead, they just have the Rift Herald pocketed right now, readily available. And yes, you do have damage that's going to go down into bot tower, maybe actually takeable by Scion. Mid lane, you can always drop it. Maybe if you're Levi, try to set up for second dragon. Mountain Dragon's going to be up here in a couple of seconds. Maybe that's the thought. But ultimately, I really do think there's a bit of wasted gold potentially, as they're going to catch up Style in the mid lane with a nice dash in. Big knock-up as well. Wow. Another kill from Nagia as he gets another chomp onto an enemy champion.
Nagia's tanking.
Kiai's going to try to slow them down on the backside, but it's not going to happen as the primary damage dealer of GAM is now dead. Kiai's on the other side of the map with TP, but I don't know that they're going to be able to get this dragon either now.
Great catch, super good timing from Team Wales, just trying to make something happen before the dragon. They know they're on the back foot because the enemy team has that Rift Herald in the back pocket, but of course, if you just offset that advantage by killing the enemy ADC, suddenly you are in the better position for the dragon. And look at the dragon, it's already going down. They do have to do something about the side lanes though, because both solo laners instantly walked down both of the lanes and are getting some towers back for GAM.
They are. They're doing quite a bit of work here, actually. As that's top tower broken, bottom tower was very close to broken. Dragon is going to go down, but Kadi's actually in a position to look for a fight. Are we looking for a TP? They are going to look for a TP. As that is going to be Kiaya TPing into the back of this fight. I don't know that they have the perfect angle for it, as Kadi's going to go running up and towards Vit. He's going to hit him with a ton of damage. Look at that. Vit has to pop the ultimate against just Kadi in the back line. Rift Herald gets dropped as well, as there's a lot of health missing on a couple of these members. Nagia going to get shut down. Potentially, who's going to get the kill? That's going to be Sejuani grabbing that one up. Now, Styles going to be able to force down the mid tower, potentially with a Rift Herald. The assistance of Shirley going to be able to break that one. And now, with Glory at half health, Killer Queen down a little bit as well. They could just run it mid lane tower. Wow. GAM find and scavenge a massive win here. Vit's not going to be able to help that much.
Style is super low.
Misses the Q. Isn't going to be able to find anything. Ultimate's going to be able to deliver B into the backline, but Style just kind of slides behind everybody. Now Killer Queen wants to kill, but he doesn't have the damage for it. And now Style can kind of stand forward towards the front of the end of the fight. Can he clean up the remainder here? Glory with a crazy charm, but can't quite hit it. Style just not quite in range. That ultimate tap is going to come through from Levi and bring down Vit, as they can just walk forward again. They don't have the health bar to defend this mid tower. GAM finds another big play.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Kati just took the tower all on his own in the bot lane. GAM once again showing off their understanding of tempo is second to none in the VCS and so much better than all the other teams. The way they just played Team Wales and just forced them to react to different things, and Wales wasn't able to find the correct answer. GAM instantly regroup in mid lane after spreading out to the side, divide and conquer first, and then back snap together in the mid lane to take another advantageous fight. They almost misplay it heavily with Style almost going down there to Killer Queen, but he makes it out and salvages the fight for the side of GAM. It's an even fight, actually. The fight wasn't the winning thing, but all the objectives going over to GAM gives them a 4-5k gold lead out of nowhere.
And actually, that could have been even worse, because a little bit later, probably 2-3 seconds later, had a Q landed on Vit in the midst of that fight by Kiaya, which was thrown at him. Vit was able to kite around it. If that hits him, it kills him, then W resets, and then you also get a kill onto Killer Queen, or my apologies, you probably get a kill onto Glory, and then you get 2 more kills onto your cannon in the midst of that and win the fight, probably push down mid tower really easily. That would have been game over, almost certainly. So thankfully, Vid able to step around that one and not give over that massive little play to Kiaya in the midst of that big fight. But one way or another, somehow, the team fighting still able to be relied upon by GAM. I know Wales is not out of it by any standard whatsoever, but Styles feeling good. 2-1, has the completed Navori quick blades. You got Kennen on really big ultimates. Levi is humongous on Sejuani, who's been a massive difference maker for this team in this game so far. And they are the ones kind of controlling things now.
And I love watching Levi on Sejuani and the likes, because so many junglers on the tanks just go with the narrative that's actually not true, where it's like, I'm just utility, I don't need any resources, and then they end up being supports, essentially. They end up just being Nautilus in the jungle position, while Levi keeps farming, he keeps getting items, and late game Sejuani is such a menace in teamfights. It's so hard to get rid of her when she's so tanky, so I love to see him play the tanks, because maybe it's not his favorite playstyle, but he's so good at actually keep on scaling and accelerating, even though it's maybe not the carry champion.
It's not. Now they're kind of infringing upon the territory of Team Wales here. TP actually to try to defend the tower. They've got a wave incoming. I don't know that that's valuable outside of the fact that maybe they're trying to defend the Baron buff. If that's going to be the case, they're going to force into the mid lane. Is that's going to be Xin jumping in, trying to find something ultimate in the backline, trying to find Style, going to deliver B. Once again, that time it's actually going to come together, and they're going to be able to find the dive onto Style, but they don't kill him. Instead, a bunch of damage dropped. It's still a losing fight right now for GAM. If Ki have no damage to be able to deliver, Style gets charmed up, has to cleanse to make sure he is out of it, and the health bars are wrecked on both sides. But it's just the one kill. Xin goes down in the midst of everything, and that is it. Just the mid tower traded for the one kill, Yul.
And that had no right to be this close. That was such a good counterpunch from Team Wales. They got B's positioning here, and the way he was able to get back into the fight. That's a 4-man knocker, by the way. That should insta-win the fight, and they only get one single kill because Style is able to dance around the edges. Look at him. No one is close enough to even contest him. Vit can't really walk forwards because he would die instantly. So it's just Style once again being able to play the Zeri to perfection. Once in this game he got caught in the mid lane, but other than that, just perfect play on the Zeri, game 1 and game 3.
It was wild in the midst of that. Also, somewhere Vit had actually burnt the ultimate, just using it defensively. If it had been paired alongside that B coming down, I feel like that would have been a disgustingly winning fight for Wales, because they locked up Style for such a long time. There was no way to get out of the feathers. There was no way to slide out of the way. Would have just been an instant execute. Kiaya ended up not getting pay dirt on the ultimate, I think, to the level that he wanted to. So, again, GAM just barely eking out little types of escapes from some of the fights that are coming through, but Wales really looking to put it together. Looking at Dragon now, trying to even up the count will be easy enough. It should be quick. See if Wales wants to pursue anything afterwards. They do not. Instead, they're going to look at mid lane. They're going to look at control of the Baron buff maybe as something to work on, but still down 4k advantage. They're actually forcing now on the side of GAM. They're going to find Nagia stuck up in place, and nobody's there.
They can't defend him.
The slightest. There's the everything. Sven goes jumping in. They're going to try to get some kind of healing available for this Cho'Gath.
What is happening?
Cho'Gath's not even dead yet. Big knockups. Nagia's going to go down eventually. Took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. In fact, that's one kill. On the side is Killer Queen, I think, looking for something maybe to try to deliver B into the rest of the line on a re-engage. Instead, GAM is going to beeline it over to Baron. We'll see if they're ready to contest.
The enemy jungler used his flash to escape from the fight, but he does have a smite ready, so if you can't keep him out of there, there is always the possibility of the steal for Killer Queen.
Yeah. Yeah, Kadi's still just playing massive defense. Style now going to slide over.
That's a kill already.
Glory was able to find a kill onto Xin as Kadi in the midst of everything is also...
Kiaya's coming!
Kiaya's ultimate still going to be big as they're going to bring down Killer Queen. No way. Now it's got to be Vit that carries this one as Glory is just too low. B is going to be able to jump into the middle of the team. It's now a 3-for-3. Levi's going to jump over the wall, try to find something. Kiaya's the only one left with any amount of damage, and he's running from Vit right now. Glory's going to try to find something against the charm, and that's going to be a little bit down. Kiaya's going to go down to Vit. Heroics from the mid laner of Wales to get them right back in the thick of things is a massive team fight win for Wales, gets them in.
Yeah, Team Wales is not ready to give up. Okay, GAM played them on the map. Okay, they got more advantages and gold, but the team fights belong to Team Wales. Look at the kill score. 5 kills ahead. Nagia is huge. Vit is super strong, and now it's on GAM to scramble. They're here. Kati is there, but he's a tank. They can ignore him. They have Nagia ultimate. This should be their Baron.
Should be their Baron. Should be able to execute. Kadi's going to try to jump into Vit. Look how tanky he is. He's not even half health yet. As Zin's try to run him out. Ultimate is used. Xin tries to escape as well. His ally has actually abandoned him, so he can't use the eating. So that means Battle Dance not available, but it doesn't matter. As Zin's mobile enough to run away, and they stop the Baron attempt from Team Wales.
But why turn? So many teams turn when they don't have to turn. There was no damage whatsoever coming their way. I don't know. I feel like they should have committed to that one. They have the smite in the Cho'Gath ulti readily available. They just have to ignore the 2 tanks trying to do anything at them for 5-6 seconds, and they get to walk away with the Baron. the safe call, not the call I would have liked, but I guess it's fine because they don't actually lose anything. So we kind of just reset the game back to an even state. Looking at the gold, GAM is actually still ahead in gold, but it's probably not feeling like that in the game.
No. Lord Doms has to be rushed by Vit. Vit has some capability. I think once Infinity Edge is done or Navori is done, that's when Vit's going to start feeling a little bit better about being able to play into all these tanks. So there is a positive there. Zeri is still a ways out from having anything like that to be able to throw Lord Doms into what is like the Vi and the Cho'Gath and everybody. Honestly, everybody's got a bunch of health right now on the side of Team Wales. So, but Runeans is done, so multi-target's going to be there. Just everyone's getting so bulky all at once. I feel like both teams are struggling to try to keep big damage kind of alive. Ensuring that Style and Vit are going to be up, ensuring that Glory and Kiaya are going to be up is also really important. That success is going to mean a world of difference for either one of these squads in these big 5-on-5 team fights. As a re-entrance now to the Baron buff pit, taken complete control of is GAM. A minute 30 out from the Dragon. They also have to consider Dragon setup because it's 2-2 right now. And basically, if they don't win the game on the Baron, they have to be worried that the Dragon's going to get traded and a soul point's going to be there. There's
the counter engage.
Inside. He's going to go after Style. He's going to deliver B once again and onto the back line. Zin's going to try to disrupt them.
He's alive still.
Slip out. Kiaya with the massive ultimate is going to catch 3. And Style's going to be able to clean up the remainder of the fight. Now Vit tries to get something, but he cannot slide it by the Gale Force, as that was a game-winning play from the top laner of GAM. Kiaya stops everyone in their place, does so much damage, and prevents the assassination of Style. And now, Baron buffs on the board, Dragons on the board, and a 5k gold advantage commanded by GAM.
Yeah, Baron is gonna go down easily. It's a 5-0 ace, actually, and it goes back to the very first game of the day that wasn't even in this series, where we talked about Cannon's roles in teamfights, and in style with everything else today, and opposite day. Today, Cannon is not an engaged champ, not a flank champ. Cannon is the defensive tool that defends your ADC from divers, and holy is he good at that, because Kiaya just destroyed everything in that teamfight. Just look at Style and where he's positioned. He doesn't have flash here. He is dead to rights after this engage. Everyone lands on Style, and he's so far out of... He should be dead at this point, but Kiaya comes in and stuns everyone, puts them together. Amazing play from the whole GAM team, and no one dies at the end.
No. Like I said, everything got spent on Style, and they were maybe a very small distance away from being able to clean that one up. And honestly, Team Wales gave it a hell of an attempt right now. But now, Baron buff, third Dragon, every win condition in the game just toppled over like dominoes to the side of GAM Esports. And off the back of being able to defend their big ADC, off the back of this Cannon pick that has been used so much this series already, 3 picks for Kiaya, making it work out super effectively. And like you have said, the defensive posturing, making it this counterplay maneuver against Team Wales. B wasn't even able to exhaust him. I think it was available in that fight, just wasn't able to use it effectively because the dive was just so far in as skip a little bit of time distance, but that means that the bottom side inhibitor is going to go down. Mid lane's getting pushed as well. Nobody's able to resound against Kadi. As Style should be able to help him take that mid lane inhibitor on top of it. And Team Wales are praying for a miracle so that they do not lose this game, so that they can continue their life in this series.
Problem for Wales is that now the damage discrepancy is just too big. So many big targets on the other team that are hard to cut through. And yes, Vit is going to deal with the tanks if you give him a little bit of time, but it takes too much time right now. And what are Killer Queen and Lori going to do in the meantime? What is B going to do? Their team composition is geared to dive on top of Style, who has his flashback, and last time the Cannon devastated your team, so you can't really attempt the same thing again. So what are you going to do? Try to find some time for Vit to slowly cut away at Levi's HP bar, and then Carty steps in and you have to deal with Carty too. It looks very hard to play right now, and we need an overcommitment for GAM. Maybe the change of style for Cannon again. Maybe if Kiaya tries to engage and they can actually focus on Kiaya instead of having to kill the tanks first, there could be an opportunity to turn the game around yet again.
There's a coming problem, though, and that is that not only is a stopwatch completed now for Style, but a Guardian Angel's on the way. Then you have to kill him twice. So if you cannot get him on 1, I don't know how you're going to get him on 2 lives with the rest of the team winning out the remainder of the fight. To me, it feels like they have to kill him without using Vit, and Vit has to just be the kind of clutch factor on the back end of the fight with all of the feathers being available. They're sort of really forcing. They got double cannons, and it's difficult for them to do anything. Nagia gets caught up by Kadi, who's... You notice Nagia's down 3 levels right now. I didn't even notice. Style goes into Zonia's. in the midst of everything, I don't know if that was a mistake or what. They're still throwing away damage. That's going to be a big ultimate. That's going to be the Gia. B is going to catch a lot of people. A lot of people had to ditch really, really quickly as the tower is still here for the defense. Really, really well positioned by Team Wales.
Well, look at this.
It's the best of their abilities. Now everyone's going down. As Styles able to clean up over top of the wall. Ki was able to pop the ultimate, get one. Killer Queen's going to look for something, but I don't think they've got anything remaining in a tank. As that's GAM Esports cleaning up the back end of this game. It was so competitive. Okay, maybe we're not quite done yet, but I feel like they've got enough minions in this tower that they should be able to break everything. Glory is the one remaining threat for Style for the most part. Vit is still pretty low health too. That's a TP to keep that one minion alive, but it's just out of range of the tower, so they're not able to use it. Now they end the game. Kadi stands in front of them, resolute like a suit of armor, as that's going to be it. It was such a competitive series from Wales. They look so good in games 1 and 2, but GAM are our Titans for a reason, and they remain unbeaten at the